Hello and welcome back to the Wheel Brick. Today we'll be checking out the LEGO Speed Champions Bugatti Centodieci. This is set 77240. It has 291 pieces in it. It's rated 9+ and it retails for $26.99 in the United States. Flipping the box around, you can see a rear view of the Centodieci, a real picture of the Centodieci, and then the side profile view of the LEGO version. Inside the box, we have 4 numbered bags, a base, we have the sticker sheet, we have a loose bag with the hubcaps / wheels, and then we have the instruction manual. So let's get into building it. Here is the completed model of the Bugatti Centodieci, so let's get into it. A little backstory on the Bugatti Centodieci. So Centodieci means 110 in Italian, and the reason they chose that name is when this car came out, not in 2025, but when this car originally came out, it was to celebrate 110 years of Bugatti, and it also pays tribute to the EB110 that Bugatti made back in the 90s. I'll put a couple of pictures here and here of a Bugatti EB110 SS prototype that I saw a couple of years back. So those pictures will be right there. And you can kind of see the resemblance between the EB110 and the Bugatti Centodieci. Another thing is the Bugatti EB110 had a V12 and this has a W16. And we will actually take a look at what the W16 would look like in a bigger model that I have. It is not a Centodieci, it is a Chiron, but we will take a look at that here in a little bit. So starting up with the Speed Champions model up front, you can see the little horseshoe grille, which Bugattis are known for. You can see these grille slats, which also mimic the EB110. And then you have these slim headlights in here with, it kind of goes up like that because on the EB110, it did slightly go up there. The EB110 were thicker headlights and it didn't really have this thing going up, but it kind of mimics that a little bit. And then I do want to point out that everything you see up front here is a print. Everything except this and this and this and this are stickers, but everything else on the front is a print. And also the windscreen here for part of the roof is a print. And then moving on to the side here, you can see we have some side view mirrors. This is a sticker, this is a sticker, and these are stickers on the side skirt. It's interesting how they did the wheels here for the hubcaps because these are actually 2 different pieces. You have to be kind of careful in the instructions. This one turns this way. You can see how it's kind of angled that way. And this one angles this way. And I feel like that's a little confusing why they did that, but that is how it is on the real car. Popping the windshield off, you can see we have a minifigure in here. And inside, you can see the center control stack, just like on the Chiron. The interior of these Centodiecis is basically a Chiron. You can kind of see the color split thing here. You can see the steering wheel there. And then you can see the seats back in here in blue and then a shifter. You can also see the roof intakes here, which these are all stickers in here for the roof intake, but I think that is really interesting how they did the roof intake just like on the real car. Moving on to the back window, this is a sticker, this is a sticker, this is a print on these here, and they did not do a very good job with the white. It's kind of a faded white. This is a sticker down here for the other intake, but I do like that the window is brick built, at least right in here. This is kind of stickers in here, but there is no other real good way to do that. Sticking the roof back on, we're gonna move to the back now. Moving on in the back, you can see we have a spoiler here along with the taillights. Taillights are kind of slats in here. It's more of a light bar here, but on the original EB110, I'll put a picture right there of the one I saw. You could see 2 oval style headlights, and it's kind of slatted in there for some of them. And so I like how they replicated here, but in a modern style. You can see the Centodieci license plate there. And then you have the stacked exhaust like they do have on the Centodieci. And then down here, we can see a pretty aggressive diffuser. And what's interesting here is that these are stickers here on the kind of triangle sign pieces. It's just kind of interesting how they would do that. And then you have brick built parts here. And you can see on the wing on this is supposed to be floating. So they put some clear pieces in there for supports because there's really no way to do that. And on the real car, this is the support for the wing, this is the support for the wing, and this is the floating part of the wing. Now let's compare it. Well, first of all, we'll do the minifigure. This is the minifigure. It's got a pretty bland Bugatti shirt with other models printed on the back of it. And then you do have a wrench that goes with it. But anyways, let's compare it to the other Speed Champions Bugatti that they did, and which is the Chiron. Now, they did the Chiron back in the 6-wide era, and you can see it's got printed parts on the front, and then this is actually a rubber band on the back to do the full width tail light. And then you can see more stickers. This was more heavily dependent on stickers. You can still see the famous arch here, but I do like that they did another Bugatti model. And they do look really good next to each other, even though this is a 6-wide and this is an 8-wide. And this car is based off of this car. This is the Chiron, this is the Centodieci. Moving these over, we are going to now compare it to the big model Chiron. So if you're unaware, these are all 3 models that Lego has done of Bugatti. They did a small Speed Champion Chiron, they did the big Technic Chiron, and then now they've done the Centodieci. I think this is a great way to kind of show the similarities since this is based on the Chiron. You can see inside how I was saying about that center control stack. You can see the center control stack, and you can see it in here replicated in the Chiron. You can also see how they did the color split interior in here. And on the big Chiron, I don't know how well you can see it, but you can kind of see the color split interior on the Chiron. There isn't a great way to show the W12 engine. Well, it's not even replicated on the Centodieci of the Speed Champions, but here, unlike my P1, this does not come off, and so we just have to work with it here. You can see what a W16 is. It is 2 V8s stacked on top of each other, and then you have the quad turbos up here. I did quickly want to run down the engine specs for the Centodieci, but we're going to show the engine right here on the Chiron because it is the same engine as in the Centodieci. And so this engine is an 8-liter W16 quad turbocharged engine. It makes 1,578 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. And that's good for 240 miles per hour. And unlike the Chiron, they produced 500 Chirons. They only produced 10 of the Bugatti Centodiecis, kind of to go with the 110, but they didn't want to do 110 units, so they just did 10 units. So what are my finishing thoughts? I think this is a great model. I'm so glad that they did another Bugatti since they've only done 3 Bugattis ever in Lego's history. So I'm so glad they did another one. And I believe if you're a Bugatti fan, Speed Champions fan, Lego fan, car fan, you will not be disappointed with this set. As for the price, this cost $26.99 in the US. Compare that to $14.99 in the US when this came out in 2017 in the 6-wide era. But if you do the math, that is about $12 more expensive for this one. But you are getting kind of twice the car with this. This is not as detailed as this is. Of course, this only has 1 seat. This has 2 seats. And so I think the price jump is justified over those 8 years. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Put them down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to The Wheel Brick. Follow The Wheel Brick on Instagram. Make sure you like this video if you like this sort of content. And be on the lookout for even more Speed Champion reviews coming soon. And I will see you next video.